In this video, we will look about the Government of India Act 1919, which is also called as the Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. The most important thing about this 1919 Act is it introduced the concept of direct elections. Okay, in the previous acts, we have discussed that direct elections element was introduced in 1909 Act, but only to the provincial legislatures. But in this act, they introduced the direct elections at both central level and in the provincial level. And another thing is they introduced the concept of bicameralism, which means having two representative bodies. So for example, the today's Rajya Sabha has taken birth because of this 1919 Act. Okay, so the central legislature is having the two bodies now. One is upper house, another is lower house because of this 1919 Act. And they enhanced, they increased the representation, they increased the voter list, but they limited the franchisee, that is based on the property tax and education. For example, those who are educated above certain level were given a choice to vote, and those who are paying tax and those who are having such a kind of a property having some 10 crores like that for example, they have increased the voter list, but they have increased the franchisee, but it was limited to few categories. And at the provincial subjects, okay, first thing is in this act they divided the subjects. That is, if you look at the present schedule 7 of the Indian constitution, we have different list where the state government has power and the central government has power, and a concurrent list where both the state and unions have power to make legislations. For example, regarding the international relations, the central government has the sole authority to make laws. And with respect to police, with respect to drinking water supply, sanitation, health, education, all these issue parameters have are in the jurisdiction of the state government. So similarly, the categorization of the subjects where the union government and the state governments have the sole authority have been divided in these 1919 Act, and they are called provincial subjects where the state governments have power. And even in the provincial subjects, they introduced the concept of diarchy. Di means two. It means the concept of diarchy includes two subjects. One are transferred subjects, another is reserved subjects. See, transferred subjects, the both element is governor. So, okay, in transferred subjects, the governor will act based on the aid and advice of the ministers who are responsible to the legislative councils. For example, health, education, and sanitation are all the subjects which are covered under the transferred subjects. And there are other subjects which are called reserved subjects where the governor has the sole authority and he acts based on the advice of the executive council. And this executive council, we are not responsible to the legislative councils. Okay, so functions such as finance and revenue matters, those things are under the reserved subjects, and those things which are under the transfer subjects need money. So in this way, though they have divided the subjects and though they are bringing the element of responsible government and responsible administration into the India, however, they are having a lot of control. They are not giving what Indians were asking and demanding, but they were giving to create shuffle, and they create a kind of differences in the society. And they have also increased the communal representation by adding the other communities in the society. For example, Sikhs, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians and Europeans also got an opportunity of communal representation, that is separate electorate. So they are trying to divide the society on so many factors using property, caste, tax, education and religion. See, the concept of divide and rule, the how the British were trying to divide the Indian society. And then they also divided the budget to central budget and also provincial budget. That means the provinces also have the liberty now, autonomy now to announce their budget provisions. Like today, if you see, the Andhra Pradesh government can announce their budgets, and then different states can announce their budgets apart from the central budgets. And they established a statutory. They announced that they will establish a statutory commission after 10 years. That is in 1929. Before 1929, which is nothing but they established Simon Commission. Why this statutory commission? Because this commission will further discuss about the further constitutional reforms which needed to be brought into India. Okay, for further constitutional reforms, what kind of reforms can be brought in? And they also established a Central Public Service Commission in 1926. If you see, I have explained in 1853 Act that a Macaulay Committee has been established in 1854, and based on that there was a Central Public Service Commission established in London, and they started conducting exams in 1855 for the first time, and 1922 in Allahabad for the first time in India. And through this act they planned to create a Central Public Service Commission in 1926 in India. Okay, and they also increased the element of Indianization in the Viceroy's Executive Council. That is, 3 out of 6 people in the Viceroy's Executive Council will be Indians now. And again more, they created a High Commissioner for India in London. They created a new office. So with this act, we can understand that the government of the British government, that is the crown rule, they are introducing the element of Indianization, but also same time they are also trying to divide the society based on the tax, I mean the property tax, education, communal lines. But if you see, and one more thing, if you look at the year 1919, what is the significance? Comment. Gandhi has entered into Indian politics. He came to India in 1915, okay, which is being celebrated as Pravasa Bharati Divas nowadays in the month January. And if you want to share more, you can please comment. And in 1919, Gandhi, though he came in 1915, started becoming more active into Indian politics. In 1917, he took a protest at Bihar, Champaran Satyagraha, and in 1918, and he took 2 more further political action in Ahmedabad and in Kheda in Gujarat. Okay, we will discuss about them in the further classes. So this is the year of 1919, and parallelly what are all happening? There were happening Lucknow Pact, where Annie Besant and Gopal Krishna Gokhale, sorry, not Gokhale, some Balagangadhar Tilak is making so many improvements. They started their own home rule leagues. Okay, we will discuss all about them in the coming lectures in a very detailed way, so that you will understand, you will remember the Indian history in such a way that you will never leave a single bit in modern India. Thank you so much, and please comment about the response, and please comment about your response about the video classes, and if you have any more subjects to be made video lectures. Thank you.